Officially 6 p.m. Eastern. I'd like to welcome everybody to the Preppers Net here on Channel 14. And we'll go ahead and get her started. Real quick, I just want to make a quick couple fast announcements. You're going to hear this throughout the night. We do have a YouTube channel, and the purpose of that is to go back and take notes as well as get caught up with the net. The YouTube channel name is at PrepNet-Talk2Me. Again, that is at PrepNet, the at sign, just like in an email, at PrepNet-Talk2Me. We also do have an email address where you can submit questions or comments. Please, in the subject line, if you have a question, please put question. If you have a comment, please put comment. And the email address is PrepNetCH14. Just do a quick check. Do we have anybody else who would like to register for the net? Please go ahead.
Red Bear, did you time out?
I might have. I apologize. Do we have anybody else that would like to register for the net?
It comes up Red Bear's PrepNet, right?
Yes, sir, Pistol Pete. I've already got you registered, buddy. I'll be calling you here shortly. Do we have anybody else that would like to register for the net tonight? Please go ahead. Okay, Big Daddy Dave, I'm going to call you up real quick so you can talk to us about what you've got going on with GroupMe there. Go ahead, Dave. The mic is yours.
Thank you, Red Bear. I appreciate you hosting this. Just wanted to let everybody know and reiterate, like we do every weekend or every Sunday, the Ready Prepper is a GroupMe. If you want to join, it's the Ready Prepper. We'll get you added in there. It is a little slow right now putting content, but if anybody wants to join and add content, Montana Jim added some stuff. Red Bear did too, and there's some other guys too that I can't remember off the top of my head, but there's some other guys that posted some stuff like a flashlight and some other stuff. So it's really a community to just add whatever you want, or if you see something out there, please add it. That has anything to do with like the prepping stuff. So, but the Ready Prepper, come join and we'll get you added.
Copy that. Thank you very much, Big Daddy Dave. And I will be throwing something up there tonight. I'll be throwing a Midland ammo can up there. What that is it's a battery-operated base station in an ammo can. You take a 50-watt mobile GMRS radio or ham radio, and you can put it in there, store it, and use it. Keep your battery charged up, and you can take it away from the house if you would like as well, and use the lid as a ground plane for a magnet mount antenna. I'm going to give a short break. Do we have anybody else that would like to register for the net? Please go ahead. Okay, Jim, if you are ready, sir, the floor is yours.
Okay, Red Bear, I'm as ready as I'll ever be. Hope everyone has weathered the big storm, and if any of the topics we have talked about here helped you in any way, that's what we're here for. Here in Montana, we didn't get much snow, but the low temp yesterday was -2, and with a wind chill of -12. We did have a power outage, 9 hours, that started last night at 10 p.m. Got down to -4, but the wood stove kept it nice and warm. And all of those off-grid and loss of water preparations worked as designed. Just a note here, at the time the power went out, my phone was at 19%. I put my battery system, charged it without even putting a dent in my stored power. You never know when your preparations will come in handy. Now let's go to tonight's topic, break. This is repetitive, all about electricity, part 16. lithium iron phosphate batteries. Solar panels, part 1. We will finally start discussing solar panels and answer what is a solar panel and what are my mounting options. What is a solar panel? A solar panel is a series of photocells that convert sunlight into DC electric current to charge batteries. Solar panels come in various types, but monocrystalline and polycrystalline are the most common, with monocrystalline being the most prevalent. I have monocrystalline solar panels as they are cheaper than the polycrystalline type. Great. Solar panels are also available in mountable or foldable configurations, with the foldable being the more expensive one. We will only talk about the mountable solar panels, but everything except the mounting of the foldable panels will be the same. We'll talk about solar panel specifications in our next presentation, which is important to know. What are my mounting options? There are many ways and locations to install your solar panels, including mounts that will track the sun. The biggest consideration is what location will let your solar panel get the most sun possible throughout the day. Great. Where you mount your solar panels will determine how you mount them. You can ground mount, roof mount, or pole mount your solar panels. Ground mounting, in my opinion, has the most positives over the other mounting options. Ground mounting gives you quick and easy access to your wiring. This also allows faster troubleshooting and makes expanding your solar array easier. Another advantage is that it is easy and safer to clean your panels or remove snow. You will more easily be able to protect your solar panels from hail damage if ground mounted. The final positive of ground mounting is that you can quickly and safely change the angle of your panels to the sun as the seasons change. Right? Now, there are some negatives to ground mounting your solar panels. First, you need to have available ground space to ground mount them. If you have a small yard or if ground mounting doesn't get the solar panel most of the sun throughout the day, ground mounting might not be for you. Your ground mounted panels will be more susceptible to damage from, say, a pickup truck backing into them. I'd do something like that. Or a rock being thrown by your lawnmower. The other negative is that running your wiring from your solar panels to your charge controller will require the wiring to either run on top of the ground or be buried underground. For me, this is not a problem as I run my wiring inside a PVC pipe lying on the ground. This allows me to move my array or expand it without having to dig up buried wire. Great. Now to roof mounting. Many will mount their solar panels on the roof of their houses. For optimum sun, the solar panels need to face south. For me, there are a lot of negatives to roof mounting. However, I can think of 3 positives to roof mounting your solar panels. First, roof mounting is a location that will usually give the solar panels the most sun. There are no trees nearby. Second, you will not have any ground clutter to deal with by getting your array off the ground. And third, the wiring between the solar panels and your charge controller can be hidden. Great. There are a lot of negatives to roof mounting, and some of them can be dangerous. Roof mounting will be more expensive to install than ground mounting. And unless you are a good DIYer, you will need to contract this out. Troubleshooting or expanding your solar array will be much harder and more expensive if roof mounted. Roof mounting provides more points on your roof for water leakage due to how they're being anchored. It's just something to think about, right? Now to the negatives I consider dangerous. Most roof mounting solutions do not allow you to easily change the angle of the panel to the sun, if at all. Plus, you need to get on the roof. The face of your solar panels must be kept clean to produce the most power they can. you will need to periodically clean the panels of dust, leaves, and bird droppings. Doing this while your panels are on the roof requires you to get on the roof. Great. If you are in a snowy climate, which I guess all of us are today, you will need to remove the snow that accumulates on your panels so they can continue to produce power. This, like cleaning the panels, requires you to get on a slick roof. This might be something you will have to do every morning after a snowstorm, and sometimes it could be many times a day. If there are hailstorms predicted, it will be hard and dangerous to protect your panels from hail damage. Solar panels or wiring can fail, causing heat, which could cause a fire in your house before protective circuit breakers break. Pole mounting can either be static or a sun tracking system. As with any mounting solution, the solar panels must be pointed towards the south. Pole mounting will require a pole that can hold up your solar panel and its mounting hardware. And if a sun trackable version, the pole will need to be even heavier. As with roof mounting, the cost will be higher than ground mounting. Now let's get to the positives of pole mounting. Pole mounting will get the solar panels off the ground and might still be low enough for you to remove snow. If a sun tracking version, the panels will get the maximum sun throughout the day. Great. A friend of mine lived in a very narrow gulch between two mountains. The sun ran from one end of the gulch to the other end. His sun tracking system followed the sun as it moved from one end of the gulch to the other. This gave him the maximum amount of solar energy from his array. Sorry, but those are the only positives of pole mounting that I came up with. Starting with the negatives. Pole mounting will make it hard to clean your panels or protect them from hail damage without a ladder. Troubleshooting and expanding your array will be more challenging and expensive. If you have a sun tracking system, ensure it can handle the weight of your additional panels. Great. As with ground mounting, your wiring will either have to run across the ground or be buried. So next week, we'll continue our All About Electricity series and continue the discussion of solar panels and answer, what solar panel specifications do I need to know about? And these are actually very important. If you have any questions about what we've discussed here tonight or anything about prepping, please ask during the roundtable or send your question to prepnetch14@gmail.com and enter question in the subject line. Throw it back to Red Bear.
Holy cow, Jim, I think we got through your presentation tonight without talking about the YouTube channel. Congratulations, sir.
It'll come up.
Copy that. Yes, it will. Yes, it will. One quick check. Do we have anybody else who would like to register for the net tonight? Please go ahead. And if you'd like to monitor, that is fine as well. Okay. We're going to move on down to TC in Louisiana. PC, do you have any questions or comments on tonight's topic about solar panels and ways to install them?
Well, of all the options of this is a comment, by the way. Of all the options of solar panels, not solar panels, but ways to produce electricity, I favor solar panels just because I don't like them on roofs. I have not seen a good reason, as Montana Jim said, to put them on a roof. It's just not sane. I see them on the ground sometimes, especially when traveling on the interstate. Big companies, I guess, they have large acres of solar panel farms. That's amazing to see. And if I had to produce electricity for something, I'd choose solar panels. So I'm excited to see what next week's going to be about.
Copy that. Yeah, I struggle with the thought of putting solar panels on the roof as well. But I guess maybe if you're living in a bigger city and you happen to own a apartment complex, and you want to throw a few solar panels up just to, maybe supply your apartment complex, you know, that I would see that, I guess. But in normal, situations, probably not. Definitely, TC. I gotta go with you on the ground installation there.
Yeah, that's a good thought. If you lived in a city with a flat roof and a staircase to get up there, solar panels would be good on the roof because the only good reason is to get maximum sun from the sky. So Montana Jim, a question: are you eventually going to cover about converting electricity from the solar panels into a battery or something?
Yes, we will be covering that. Next week's specification is real important because you just don't want to go willy-nilly buy solar panels. After that, had to do with wiring. Then we're doing protections. Then we're getting, that's how you're getting in. We already talked about the charge controllers, so that part we're not going to cover real extensively. Then we're going to get in how do you actually get your electricity out of the batteries and in what form, and things of that nature. So there's probably, God, I'm hitting my forehead. There's probably 3 to 5 more sessions on this all about electricity thing to get done with it. So yeah, we'll be covering that.
All right, 10-4 on that. Yeah, because if in case of an emergency of any kind, that's what, excuse me, that's what we resorted to. We have ready on hand a solar panel, an inverter, and several batteries if we need them. So that's all I have to say. I'm excited to get into the solar panels.
Copy that, TC. Copy that. Yeah. All right, I'm going to do one more quick check. Do we have anybody else that would like to register for the net? Please go ahead.
The bandits in the house. I couldn't remember what channel y'all was on.
Oh, Lordy, 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 help us now.
Hey, Bandit, we got you down. Glad you're here, brother. Give you a quick rundown now that you found us sneaking around. What we're looking at is solar panels for our charging system. And we were looking at, different ways to mount them, be it on a pole, be it on the roof, or mounting them on the ground. So that was our topic tonight. I'm going to give a short break here. Do we have anybody else that would like to register for the net? Please go ahead. Okay, we're going to keep moving on. Donna in Montana. Donna, do you have any questions or comments tonight on the topic?
No, my only comment really is that I agree with what's been said about the ground-mounted solar panels. Although, for some people that may not be an option, but luckily where we are, that is the best option for us.
Copy that. Yeah, I don't know if I would even really want to install solar panels permanently unless I did actually have the space to be able to install what I needed on the ground. So definitely, Donna, thank you very much. Big Daddy Dave in Missouri. Big Daddy Dave, questions or comments tonight on the topic?
Yeah, I think what comes to mind is going through this, and it's awesome information. And we can back up on the YouTube to go back on it. But Montana Jim, what would you think if somebody, people that are listening out there thought, man, that all of this information is overwhelming. Do I have to have a really big system, or can I start maybe small and kind of build on that? Or is it like, hey, I got to start small, and then when that one doesn't work, I've got to sell it, then I've got to, or get rid of that one and then go to a bigger system? Or can you build on a system?
Yeah, that's a real good question, Big Daddy Dave. One of the themes you've heard from me, and if you've gone on our YouTube site and watched our presentations, is I really emphasize planning. So, and planning for everything, but your solar system, you need to plan. You need to figure, what do I want it to do? How much, if you don't know what you want it to do, you can't build the system. And when you build the system, you overbuild it, or you get components that will allow you to expand, so you don't have to do with exactly what you said. Is you buy something small, and then when you outgrow it, you have to throw it all away. Don't do that. If you think you're going to expand, get something that will allow you to add more solar panels, add more batteries. That's going to depend on how you have your battery bank wired. I have 9 24-volt batteries.
Is that good for your whole house, the 9?
I'll say that again. I'm sorry. I think I timed out, but go ahead with the question.
9 battery bank. Is that enough for your house to sustain your house?
That's no. I do not have my system set up to run my house. Everything except my stove and my furnace is electric because of all the fans and crap. But everything is electric. Hot water heater is electric. How I get my water out of the well is electric. Both of those are 220. So the size of the system I would have to be much bigger, and I have actually quite a large system. I have 2,500 amp hours of storage, which is a heck of a lot of storage. But I have mine designed to work for me in an emergency, and it's wired such that, and let me break so I don't time out this time. It's wired such that it goes to 3. There's separate wiring for 110, for 24 volts and 12 volts in 3 portions of the house that can, you can end up running extension cords to anything that you need and everything. So it's more for emergencies, even with 9 batteries, because I overbuilt it. Hopefully that answers that part of the question. And let me break one quickie. And yes, with the with your design, you really need, and we will be covering a little bit about that in the future, but also I would go back and watch all of these past things, because that's sort of driven home, and it gives you a working way of going through and deciding, what do I want it to do? And a lot of people are not going to want to do their house. They're going to want it to be portable, and that's fine, and we do cover that too. So anyway, I'll throw it back out there.
So, in other words, you could probably build on a system with a smaller system with, if something were to happen, you get shut down on electric, say power went out, that'll do your essentials, and then you can build from there. Is kind of what I'm gathering too.
Exactly. So you could start out with, okay, I'm going to have enough. In fact, that's exactly what we did. And we did almost 3 years of research before we bought anything. And actually, that is actually covered in one of the videos of what we did. But the charge controller was the big thing. We didn't get a small one, which is expensive, but we got one that could take a lot of solar input, and it could output a fair amount of charging capability. Because I started out with 3 24-volt, 95 amp hour batteries, went to three 24-volt 280 amp hour batteries, and then went to nine 24-volt 280 amp hour batteries, wired in parallel with quick disconnects, etc. I went and did it again. Big mouth. I can pull if a bank goes bad, I can pull it out, and it's not going to interfere with anything. I can turn around and add more. So I built in that expandability in the beginning. So you can start out small. You might have to go kind of expensive on the charge controller, but you can then build upon that and expand as your needs expand.
Okay, yeah, that's what question that I think that, or good information I think that people would have. I kind of had my own opinion, and it aligns like almost parallel with what you just said. So that's awesome.
And I'll just quickly finish this up. Yeah, hopefully what we do the rest of this, and what I'm thinking is the last presentation on this is sort of going to be either a best tips, tricks, sort of combining everything into one quick presentation that sort of gives all of this to where it comes together and makes complete sense. But having this many sessions is very confusing, to say the least.
Copy that. Throw it back over to you, Red Bear.
All right. Thanks, Big Daddy Dave, and thank you very much, Jim. Going to do another check. Do we have anybody else that would like to register tonight?
Yes, I'm late as ever. This is Royal. I would definitely like to register for the season.
Copy that. What was your name again, sir, and what state are you in?
This is Royal, and I'm in Grand Island, New York.
Copy that. Well, we got you down in New York. Glad to have you here. Do we have anybody else that would like to register tonight? Please go ahead. Okay, well, just a quick rundown for you. What we're talking about tonight is solar panels and how to install them. We're looking at pole mounts. We're also looking at roof mounts and ground mounts. So far, we're thinking that the best way to mount solar panels is going to be on the ground. But we'll go ahead and we'll keep moving on. We'll move down to Pistol Pete in New York. Pistol Pete, do you have any questions or comments tonight? Please go ahead.
I was just about to say, what about putting them out of a window? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I'll go ahead and answer that, Red Bear. You can. It's not going to be efficient because you're going through the glass. That's number one. Is the window pointing south? That's number two. And you're probably only going to be able to put one panel. Size of my windows, I could probably put a 200-watt panel up here. A 200-watt panel is not going to give you a lot of charging power. So you just need to be aware of that. And again, I urge everybody to go watch the YouTube channel and watch the whole series on electricity, because we don't cover about doing a window, but we do cover about, what you need to have, etc. And next week it'll probably make some of that a little bit clearer. Hopefully that answers your question, Pistol Pete.
Yeah, no, I meant put the panel outside of the window. You know what I mean? Like on the house, but outside of a window, so you can still have access to it if you ever have to, God forbid, get to it. You know?
Okay, copy. I understand. Yeah, you can do that. The thing you will have to do is the mounting will have to be so you can put the panels at an angle. I think it's next week. I do these things ahead of time. I think next week I talk about angles. And where I'm at, my panels are at a 45-degree angle because of my latitude. Yours would probably be similar. Somebody in, say, tip of Florida, theirs would be different. So you would have to do that. If you just put them up on the wall like a picture, they're not going to be very efficient.
Yeah, and all the ones that I've seen near me that are on houses, they're all on like that same angle. You know what I mean? Even when I see them on buildings too, they're all on that same pitch of an angle where it's like the 45-degree angle or whatever it is.
Right, and that changes throughout the year. Actually, it can be quite big. That's why I mentioned about the mounting and being able to change the angle. And that's what I was talking about. You could put them flat like a picture. It's just they wouldn't be as efficient, and so you'd have to have many, many more of them to make up for that inefficiency. But it is possible. Although unless you want to actually side the whole side of the house with solar panels. But anyway, good question.
Thank you very much, Pistol Pete. Appreciate your questions tonight. Always a pleasure to have you around, sir. Do we have anybody else that would like to register for the net tonight? Please go ahead.
Thank you for having me, Redbeard.
Sorry, what was that, Pistol Pete?
I said thank you for having me.
Copy that, brother. Copy that. We're going to keep moving on, though. JW in Louisiana. JW, do you have any questions or comments tonight, sir?
No, sir. I'm just been listening. I've been enjoying listening to you guys talk. I think you learn a whole lot more by listening than talking. So that's what I'm doing. Thank you guys for this.
Copy that. Copy that. Yeah, yeah. All right. We'll move on to Bandit then in Texas. Bandit, got here a little bit late, but you've been hearing some of the conversation now. Do you have any comments or questions, sir? One more try for Bandit. Bandit, are you still with us? Okay, we'll move on to Will in New York. Will, do you have any questions or comments tonight, sir?
Just a slight clarification. I think we went through this last time. It's Royal, not Will.
You said rail?
I think he said Royal, like Royal. I'm not sure.
Yes, ma'am.
Royal in New York. Okay, Royal, I apologize. I've got you down correct now. Yes, we've went through this before. I'm very sorry. But do you have any questions or comments tonight?
Sir, I came in kind of late, so I'm just observing and listening and taking some notes.
Copy that. Copy that. Hey, Royal, just to let you know, we also do have the YouTube channel. That is at prepnet-talk2me. Again, the @ sign like an email address at prepnet-talk2me. So you can definitely get caught up there if you would like as well. Jim, do you have any last thoughts, comments, or questions for anybody tonight?
Yeah, we got a little bit here. First off, TC, I want to ask you a question. Have you had a chance to watch any of the expanded presentations on the electricity thing?
Actually, excuse me. Actually, I have. I've especially watched the presentations. They're very detailed, and yes, they work.
Okay, so you think though they're a good complement to the radio net here?
I think they're a great compliment. There's nothing that could be making it better. I haven't seen them all. I've seen probably most of them, and I'm working on watching the rest.
Okay, good deal. Good deal. Glad to hear that. Like to have the feedback. I'm trying to put a lot more into them. In fact, is this one for this net, there are a lot of pictures on pole mounts, ground mounts, the whole thing. So again, there is a lot more information on these for everybody. So I would encourage you to go look at it. Also, a lot of them in the video description will have links to other things. They'll either be links to a product I mentioned, not that I'm pushing the product, but just so you can get more information. There could be links to other YouTube people that have put stuff out that I trust that do a lot of solar stuff or are solar engineers. Let me break. So I would encourage that because there's a lot of other information. Also, especially on the All About Electricity one, I've started having a link in there to a PDF file that has all the slides and all of the narration and all of any additional pictures, diagrams, things of that nature. So taking notes, you can turn around, click that, and you can print it out, and you can have everything in there. So just to let you know about that. So let me break again. And on Big Daddy Dave's The Ready Prepper on GroupMe, Red Bear has created a PrepNet-Talk2Me area, and I've started posting links there directly to our expanded presentations or the presentations on a topic. And I started at our very first one, and I'm slowly working up. So I think I've gotten 3 up there. And it gives you instant access to the expanded presentation. It'll give you instant access if there is a recording of the net, like what I'm doing right now. And if there is a hard copy, there will be a link to that too. So you'll have easy access and not have to be able to remember at PrepNet-Talk2Me as what our YouTube channel is. So you can just go there and click that and go directly to it. And also see everybody else's replies and their questions and stuff that they've posted. So I think it's a good combination. So with that, I can't think of anything else unless somebody does have any other questions. I will throw out there. Yeah, ground mounting I think is the best way to go. I have 16 panels, 4 sets of 4. Ground mounted on the ground. In fact, today I went out there and it took me about a minute to brush the snow off, which increased my charging power dramatically. And if it was on the roof, I would not have been able to do that. Anyway, back to Red Bear.
Thank you, Jim. You just caused me to remember a quick question that I had for you as well. When it comes to snow removal off the solar panels, are there any special tools required, or what do you recommend to do this?
Yes, actually, there is a very specialized tool called a broom. That's what I use. I use a broom. Now, the advantage I have here in Montana is most of the snow we get doesn't have a big water content. I mean, you could probably go out there with a little, just blow it off. So it works really good. You guys' area where you get sleet and stuff and you get a layer of ice on there, that's going to be problematic because you do not want to use an ice scraper on a solar panel. So, and there may actually be solar panels out there that have heaters, but you're going to be using your power from your batteries. Let me break. So if you have ice, the only way you can probably get it off is with either just let it naturally go and hope you got sun, or you use a hair dryer. But again, you're going to be using power.
I would wonder, since they're kind of a black in color, the cells there, if there would be any kind of a thermal exchange, then melt the ice off of that before it would, other things.
That's a yes. But what you need to have is you need to have sunny days. We have sunny days up here, and it can literally be minus 10 degrees outside. And I can walk out, and if there's no wind, so we don't have the wind chill factor, but the sky is clear and it's sunny, I just have to have a light sweatshirt on. That radiant heat works well. So yes, the fact they're facing south is good, but if you get many days of snow, sleet, and super cloudy weather, they might not fall all the way. But yeah, there's been there's been times where I have a camera set up so I don't have to go outside to look, and it shows in the morning that they're messed up. By the time I get outside, they're clear. So yeah, you're correct in that.
Hopefully you have enough battery backup to get you through until it does get to charge again.
And yes, and that's part of the design thing, and I do stress that. You want to have a battery bank that will cover you at least 3 days of cloudiness, to where, because what you ideally want, the amount of solar panels you have should be enough to recover what you took out during the daytime. That's the minimum. But what you really want is you want a battery bank that will be able to go 3 days or longer if you decide, without having any charging coming in. So that's the overbuilding. That's putting in, padding things in. Let me break. So yes, you are correct in that, and how many panels you have is the same. If you're taking out, and I'm going to use terms here, 100 watt hours, you need to be able to put 100 watt hours back in, and if you'll know, you are not getting charging or usable solar power just because it's daylight. You're probably getting 5 to 6 hours in the summer and 3 to 4 hours in the winter. So you need to take that into consideration too.
All right, we'll just do one quick check here. Does anybody else have any last comments or questions tonight? The floor is yours. Please go ahead.
I just wanted to, it's Big Daddy Dave, I just wanted to reiterate the Ready Prepper. If anyone, we're up to 20 members so far, and man, I think that's great. Last time I looked, so some of the guys that came in late, the Ready Prepper is a GroupMe page. If you want to join, we're trying to fill it up with good content for prepping, and it doesn't have to be end of the world type prepping. It could be anything like this ice storm that came through, grid down stuff, electrical, power outages. It could be anything like that. So any good content that you can contribute, we would love that. It's called the Ready Prepper. If you want to join, just go there and join, and we'll get you added.
Copy that. Thank you very much, Big Daddy Dave. Really appreciate that. Any more last thoughts, questions, or comments tonight? Please go ahead.
Just one, the Ready Prepper is on YouTube. Is that where it's located?
No, go to GroupMe. If you're a member of GroupMe, the official Talk2Me GroupMe, you can actually go and search for the Ready Prepper on that, and that's where it is.
Copy that. Thank you.
On the YouTube, Montana Jim is posting on the Ready Prepper some links to take you over to the YouTube page, or Red Bear has the link. You can go straight to YouTube.
Copy that.
Yeah, I have a quick comment. I just want to say before anybody starts going, run outside and put in some ground solar panels or even on a pole. You got to think about your lawn. Okay, if you're going to set all these panels up, you need to think. I can't just go run my lawnmower under the panels. You're going to have to either do a weed eater every day, hire somebody, or have specific livestock. For me, that wouldn't be a problem because I have sheep. Sheep is like a prioritized livestock for maintaining the grass and weeds around the the solar panels. So that's just something to keep in mind as well, because you don't want grass and weeds overtaking your solar panels.
Sheep are like animal weed whackers, right?
Yeah, that's right.
And they eat grass, correct?
Yep. So they maintain all those tight spots around the solar panels. And if you're using something like a weed eater, excuse me, if you're using something like a weed eater, you still have to be careful, as before said, like using a lawnmower. You might throw a rock or two at your solar panels, and you don't want that. So if you're putting in ground solar panels or even poles, I would think about that as well. How are you going to keep up with your lawn?
True. You're right. You definitely are on to a point there. You got to worry about the proper maintenance and all that. Yeah, definitely. I definitely understand.
Yeah, I'll add to that, TC. Thanks for adding that, man. That is a great point. Long time ago, many moons ago, I was part of a satellite company and a quality control inspector for them. And the guys, whenever they do a pole mount for the satellite dish, when the wires would come down that coax, it would go underground, and they would use a flooded line or some sort of a ground line that can be buried. And what they would do is they would have these PVC pipes or PVC elbows that they would put that wire through, and then it would go into the ground, and they would strap that to that pole. That would prevent, if you do weed eat, that would prevent any damage to that wire.
Yep. I always think about that when looking at ground solar panels. Not only does it look just ugly around your solar panels, all these tall weeds, but eventually it can mess up your wiring if it gets somehow gets in there, and it could overcome your solar panels, and that'll be difficult to clean up, and you won't get near as much electricity.
Well, I got an idea. How about if you spray the weed where it won't grow?
Especially if you're putting them in like a bed. You're putting the solar panels in like a bed, and you have to put like mulch in it, or you have to like, you know what I mean? Like make the mulch look nice and everything. That'll also be an issue if they're near, you know.
Yep. Weed killer could work, but still, it's not permanent. You'd still have to keep up with that weed killer every few weeks. But that is another option.
And you wouldn't want that weed killer around your sheep or your goats that you're trying to get to eat the bulk around your solar panels if you do ground mounting as well. So, because you could poison your livestock at that point.
Exactly. In my work, what I'm doing, I wouldn't be able to use weed killer around my solar panels because that would, if many amounts, it will probably intoxicate the livestock. So if I was to set it up, I'd have it around sheep. Sheep, they're not likely to tear up the wires as other livestock. That's why they do that. big companies, as I said, on the interstate, where you see those hundreds of acres of solar panels, as far back as you can see. From what I know, they actually do large contracts with people that own livestock, especially sheep, to maintain that the area of the solar panels. So sheep farmers make a lot of money releasing their sheep around the solar panels. There are some big contracts with that.
Copy that. Copy that. One last check, though, TC. Do we have anybody else with any other last comments or questions tonight?
Yeah, what about wind, like those big windmills? You know what I mean? That you see out west. Like, does that have anything to do with it too? Yeah, right.
We have discussed those in past nets a little bit. We have touched on windmills, Pistol Pete. Those are on the YouTube channel as well. Once you get caught up there. So, but right now we are looking at solar panels today. So, do we have anybody else with any last questions or comments?
Yeah, if I can, I want to make a couple of comments on what was said. Big Daddy brought up about, we don't have to prepare for the apocalypse, although you will understand, or when you're listening to me, I am doing that because it's easy to downscale. As I said, we had a power outage. I took the sun blew up, and, well, not the sun, but we had an EMP and we lost power. We're not going to have any for months and months and months. Okay. But for 9 hours, I still fell back. So it's easy to do that. So I would encourage people to plan for the worst, but expect but hope for the best. Let me break. Sorry about that. And TC, yeah, good point on the ground mounting. You have to be careful about that. I'm also going to give you another warning about solar panels. You can't turn them off. If they are facing the sun, they will produce power. So if you have to deal with it, what you're going to have to do is you're going to have to cover the solar panel up. Either put the cardboard over it or a blanket or something. So be aware of that, regardless of where you mount them, but especially if you mount them on the ground and you'll be messing around with them, you can't turn them off. They don't have switches.
Very important last note for the evening. Thank you very much, Jim. Yeah. Nice. It's a good thing to know that as long as the sun's hitting them, they're throwing electricity somewhere. So definitely cover your solar panels up if you have to do any maintenance on them to make sure that the sun is blocked from them so you don't get electrocuted. I'm going to give a short break here. All right, guys. I just want to throw a special thanks to Montana Jim. He does actually look through all the emails as well as put the YouTube page together. He runs the YouTube page, and he does bring all the topics for discussion every week. So I want to give a very special thanks to Jim, and I want to thank all of you that did register tonight, because that shows us that we are reaching somewhere with our topics on prepping. That is very important. I'm going to give a short break here. So thank you for registering. And if you're in the background monitoring, maybe next week is your week to step up and go ahead and register with us. We do appreciate people monitoring in the background, but we do appreciate you registering if you would. Also, quick call for the email address there. That is prepnetch14@gmail.com. Again, that is prepnetch14@gmail.com. If you have a question in the subject line, please put question. If you have a comment in the subject line, please put comment. I'm going to give a short break. Okay, lasting joke with our nets. Going to beat that dead horse one more time, as we call it. we're going to talk about the YouTube channel now. So if you want to go to YouTube and watch our YouTube videos and the expanded presentations there, what you're going to do is go to YouTube and search the @ like in an email address at prepnet-talk2me. Again, that is the @ like the @ in an email address at prepnet-talk2me. And you'll be able to find the YouTube channel where all of our nets are, as well as all the expanded presentations. So please go check that out. Thanks again for joining the net, everybody. I want to wish everybody a good rest of their weekend here this Sunday evening and a good start to your week. Everybody have a good evening. Thank you for joining the net. We'll turn the channel back over to regular operations.
I got a question.
Go ahead, Bandit. What you got?
Well, on that covering the solar panel, if you're working on it, couldn't you unplug it and it wouldn't work?
I'll grab that one. Unplug it from what? It's still, if you unplug the wires, it's still going to produce power. So you have to have the proper connectors and make sure you don't cross them. But it will still produce power at the end of that disconnected cable. So yes, you could, if you had a combiner box or something of that nature, which we'll talk about next week, you can disconnect it from there. But if you're doing it on the super cheap and you're using a clamp of some form and you undo it and you have a bare wire, you need to be aware that it is producing electricity. Hopefully that answers the question.
Yeah, 10-4. Hey, Red Bear, what is that to submit a ticket in? What's that website?
That is publicradioservice.com. Again, publicradioservice.com. Bandit, do you already have an account there?
Yeah, 10-4, but I just couldn't remember what the website was.
Copy that, brother. Copy that. Well, Jim, before you fly the coop on us, I just want to say thank you. I think this was a very good net tonight, sir.
I agree. Good participation. A lot of good points were brought up, etc. This might be one that deserves a comment video because a lot of stuff was brought up that wasn't in the presentation, and is probably good to document it.
I definitely have to agree with you there. So, yeah. Had a lot of good comments and questions tonight. A lot of good talk on the topic. So, I'm actually quite happy about that myself. Jim, are you over on Hamlink Pro yet?
No, I just saw that. I went and sort of took a look at it, and there was also that other thing Jason put out about the CRS, and I'm curious about that. But I have not signed up for it yet.
Copy that. Copy that. Right now, we do have a couple of nets actually tied in. The KC Wide is on there. We also have the Monkey Room over in Boise, Idaho, and we've got one or two others yet. So the repeater selection is definitely growing over there.